What's up, everyone? This is Gail Dudley with your news in motion. Today is Friday, July the 24th, 2020. Before I get started, I want to introduce all of you to Cassandra Tauber and this book, For My Princesses. This book is an amazing book. It's an outstanding book. She wrote this book because of her two daughters. And this book, let me show you some of the illustrations on this book. Hello, Beverly Woodard. This book, hello, Kim Hill. Y'all know this is Friday, Anything Goes Day. So we got questions I'm going to answer today. But this book, written by Cassandra Tauber and her two daughters, is outstanding. It's called For My Princesses. And again, this is Cassandra Tauber. This is some of the illustrations inside this book. I just want y'all to see. Hello, Deborah. I just want y'all to see some of the illustrations in this book. This book is outstanding. And yes, Cassandra Tauber is one of the sponsors of News in Motion. We do a lot of work together, but I just want to give a shout out to Cassandra Tauber and her great work. She has another book that's coming out soon that's talking about For My Kings. So this is a great book. So if you're looking for a book, from a Black author, Cassandra Tauber. I will tag her in this so you can get a great look at this. But again, this work is outstanding. So I just wanted to show you some of that. And I think her picture is somewhere in the back, her and her two girls. Let me see if I have that picture. I do. Hello, Brenda Randall, and happy Friday to you too. So that's Cassandra Tauber. Check this out, For My Princesses. Check this book out. All right, let's get to some of these questions y'all had a sister working on yesterday. So let's start off. This is the first question. The first question is, what is happening with Michael Cohen? What is happening with Michael Cohen? As you know, he was the occupant of the Oval's personal attorney. That was all of the Stormy Daniels and all of that. Well, he was released to home confinement about a month ago. But as you know, I shared on News in Motion, he returned to prison because he would not sign an agreement. He would not sign an agreement to say that he was not going to work on any book. He wasn't going to talk about any book. He was not going to talk with the media. Well, he didn't sign the agreement, so they took him back to prison. Well, on yesterday, his attorney, they went before the judge, and the judge was like, no, not happening. We're going to let you out. So he gets out today at 2 o'clock p.m. this afternoon, Eastern time. He gets out 2 p.m. Eastern time. And the update is Michael Cohen will be released, citing his First Amendment rights. He will be released at 2 p.m. Judge finds his returning to jail initially a couple weeks ago as retaliation by the administration. And the judge ruled in Michael Cohen's favor. So there's that. So the judge rules in Michael Cohen's favor. So that's that. So he'll be out of prison again, 2 o'clock today for home confinement. The second question, what is going on behind the scenes when it comes to Portland, Chicago, Kansas City, Albuquerque, New Mexico? And as you heard yesterday, if you are a resident of Ohio, as I am, that our governor said, he confirmed, that the federal agents are being deployed to Cleveland, Ohio. Y'all, we have to pay attention to this, okay? So my response to that is that this is what I call federal action, what I call military intervention to silence the voices of those who are seeking change. And I think after the death of George Floyd, after the murder of George Floyd, people became they're restless. They're wanting to see change. They're demanding change. People aren't liking the terminology to defund the police, but that's not exactly what that means. We have the definition of defunding police, but what that's really talking about is that, okay, instead of having police officers in schools, instead of just arresting children, let's have some social workers in the school. Let's have some psychologists in the schools. Let's do this differently. Let's have a parent team. Let's have a teacher team. Let's do things differently. Instead of just having police show up where you're seeing homeless people laying on park benches just to arrest them, to tackle them down, to do whatever. Let's have people from that field come and talk with them, mental health experts and so forth. That's what that means. So again, Google this for yourself to look at what it means to defund the police. But what's happening is, I mean, y'all saw it. It even went beyond the United States of America. People were protesting everywhere. Now, yes, you had riots. That happened. I do not advocate violence. But you had people peacefully protesting all across the United States into other countries. They were protesting. They're like, enough is enough. So what's happening is, they have a little bit too much power. So what do we need to do to shut this down? So behind the scenes, that's what's going on. I mean, and then here's something else I thought was very interesting. Again, I'm a resident of Ohio. In Columbus, Ohio, on last Saturday, there was a anti-mask rally. Now, what was interesting is that there were no police that arrived there in riot gear. None. But there were people on the State House lawn with some serious guns, if you will. And I don't know all the names up for them, but it was just interesting. And there's a disparity. So this is things that we need to talk about. Again, my reasons for why we vote. If we do not vote, and it's been said over and over and over again at the 2016 election, there were people who were mad, but they didn't even vote. They didn't even turn out to vote. So even now you have to raise the question, are all of these people voters who are of age? Have they all been registered to vote all across the United States? Have they registered to vote? This is why we vote, people, so that we can have a voice. And I pulled this out, and I just want to read it again. I know you probably know this, but just so that you know, the First Amendment to the United States Constitution prevents the government from making laws which regulate an establishment of religion, prohibit the free exercise of religion, or abridge the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the right to peacefully assemble, or the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. It was adopted on December the 15th, 1791 as one of the 10 amendments that constitute the Bill of Rights. So we have a right to assemble. And I think that's the other thing we need to know. We learned it in school, but is this still being taught? And are we making a point to teach this? This is our First Amendment right. So even with that, if we start putting that in the forefront of our argument to encourage people to vote and get them to understand law and to get them to understand history, I believe we will begin to see a different kind of wave and a different kind of move. So earlier I talked about Cassandra Tolver, and this is her book. For My Princesses. But now I want to also talk about Demia Kandai. Demia Kandai is an entrepreneur. She owns Significance. She's great to go in and talk about diversity training, to have as a one-on-one coach, small group coaching, consultant. You want to check out Demia Kandai. She travels all over. So I will put her information in the comment section as well, because some of this pertains that you may have to bring in an expert to talk with your class, talk with your staff, employees, corporations, nonprofit, even church. So you don't want to miss Demia Kandai with Significance. So I will put her information in the comment section. Now here's the other thing to go along with that question. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler was at the protest on Wednesday night. He was on the front lines. They were peacefully protesting. He's a Democrat. He's a Democrat mayor. And he was pepper sprayed. Everyone who was just standing there, they were tear gassed and pepper sprayed. Why? Why is that so important? That's where we need to get to the root of what's going on. So when the question is what's going on behind the scenes. What's going on behind the scenes is that I believe they're trying to silence us. Then we had the occupant of the Oval on yesterday make the reference that we'll put in 50,000, 60,000 people that really know what they're doing, and they're strong, they're tough. These are his words, not mine. I'm giving you a direct quote. So they're talking about deploying. First, we talked about 100 federal agents. Then it went to 150. Then it increased to 175. Now they're talking 50,000 to 60,000 federal agents on the ground. Another quote of the occupants yesterday was, "We're going to all of the cities, any of the cities. We're ready," he threatened. And then again, we'll put in 50,000, 60,000 people that really know what they're doing, and they're strong, they're tough. So we just have to vote. Yes, continue to protest peacefully, but we have to vote. Voting is our strength. Voting is our strength. We have to vote. We have to continue to register people to vote, y'all. Come on, October the 5th. October the 5th is the last day to register to vote, to be able to vote in the November 3rd election. Again, check your Secretary of State website. We're all over the U.S., so check your Secretary of State website, see what their date is, especially in this pandemic, to see if any of the dates have changed. But we have to register to vote, people. Another question, how many Americans are claiming unemployment? Well, there are roughly 1 in 5 American voters who are drawing jobless benefits. 1 in 5 American workers. Right now, there are 30 million people claiming unemployment. 30 million people. And this has a lot to do with the pandemic. And then the week ending July the 18th, there was 1.4 million people who filed. 1.4 million people. The next question, you give us daily the COVID-19 numbers. Yesterday, you were the first to report 4 million cases in the U.S. How did you know those numbers? I'm finding I'm being the first to report a lot of things. So y'all need to stay right here with me with News in Motion. Well, as I share with you every day, I get my numbers from WHO, that's WHO, which stands for the World Health Organization. I go straight to the source to get the numbers. And here's the truth. Any media person can go to that source to get the numbers. Why they don't get the numbers from there, I have no idea why they don't get the numbers. What's up, Kenya? I have no idea. But that's where I get my numbers. So yes, that's why you hear them from me first, because I go directly to who. And I'm usually, the numbers I report, I'm usually about 24 hours before the other journalists and reporters report those numbers. I think they go directly to the CDC, but everyone can go to WHO to get those numbers. And again, that's the World Health Organization. So the coronavirus numbers as of yesterday, 4,169,991 cases. Deaths, 147,335 deaths. But then again, the recovery, 1,979,617 have recovered. All right, here's another question. Is Portland's mayor also the police commissioner? If so, how can that be? Y'all had me go looking this up, and he is. Ted Wheeler, he's both. And what I've come to find out is that Portland doesn't have a governance system. They don't have that system. They're just free. I kind of like that, y'all. They just free. They just like, this is what I'm doing. So he is the mayor, and he also holds the police commissioner position. It's interesting. He cannot hold the police commissioner accountable, but he can appoint the police commissioner. So he just said, I'm gonna just do it this way. I'm gonna just do both. I know that's weird, y'all. That's their system. So they do not have a governance system. And I thought that was very interesting. Now, Wheeler, who is both, has publicly stated there are conflicts between his two jobs. Now, he holds two jobs, but he has publicly stated that there's a conflict in holding those two jobs. And then he goes on to say he has an obligation to investigate as well as setting the vision for the city, which is a conflict of interest. So you all figure that out. If you find out more, please let me know and then I'll share more information here. But that's all I could find on that question. But yes, he actually holds both of these positions. Yes. So he cannot hold a police commissioner accountable, but he has the power to appoint. So I guess he just said, why bother? I'm going to just do both. That's just odd. But that's what's happening there. That was a great question. Y'all made me go searching. All right, number 6. As a people, and then it says black people, are we still protesting, or is it the same people on the front line while others have gone back to business as usual? Now that's a great question as well. I think we start off protesting. I think that's what has happened. This is my opinion, by the way. And I think people become weary. They become tired because it's the same people. Some people are cut out for this. Some people are not. And I think we need other avenues such as News in Motion. You have Black News Columbus with Rita Fuller Yates. You have different outlets and news sources. You have Joy and Company in Dallas. I can sit here and list different sources, and I'll put some in the comment section. But you have people who are coming at it from different directions, and I think we have to have a balance behind that. At the same time, we have to know our individual strengths. What's your strength? Are you involved in your community? If so, what is it that you are doing? Are you an elder or leader in your church? If so, what can you do when it comes to voter registration? What can you do with informing people about social justice issues, racism, systemic racism? What can we do individually? I taught a class, it might have been about 2 years now, and I haven't done it recently, but it's called Politically Savvy, where we talk about organizing and what that looks like. And it talks about playing your position, which I'm going to get to that in a moment when I get to the inspirational message. But playing your position, what is it that you like to do? I know I'm passionate about voter registration. I know I'm passionate about giving the truth in the news. So that's how News in Motion came about. That's how it came about. And it's like, this is a platform for whatever season to give you the news and to give you the truth. Again, I watch the news, and as I'm watching the news, sometimes I have to take a break, but when I'm watching the news, I'm paying attention to what they skip over or how quickly they put something out there and they keep on going. That's where I start digging. Why did you just throw that out there and keep on going? What does that look like? So I pay attention to that. But we start protesting, we start doing different things, and then we say, okay, I'm tired, I quit. But what about if we put together a system where, okay, Gail, you have the first 30 days. Anita, you have the second 30 days. Kenya, you have the third 30 days. And we put together a system where, okay, here, I'm handing you off the baton. I'm going in to get some self-care. I'm coming back out to battle with you in a few weeks, so that we are taking breathers. We need somebody who's researching information. We have, and that's really, y'all got me in my spot now. So that was a great question. So it's like, okay, here, you're a researcher, so you go and research this information. Okay, you don't like to be up front. So let me pass this off to somebody who's willing to go on camera to give this information. Okay, you want to check out this, you want to hold this accountable. We have to have a system. You have a prayer team over here, because definitely we need prayer, because as we are exposing things, we need some intercessors over here praying for those of us who are exposing things. We have a historian, and again, I don't want to keep giving the same names, but she's doing it. Rita Fuller Yates is jamming with Black history as a historian, especially in Columbus, Ohio, but she goes all over the U.S. as well. She knows how to dig into that history and to pull that information out. So we need someone like her that's pulling out this information. We have other people who are saying, I'm inside, I'm working on the ground level, here's the information there. If we are feeding it all in, if you're not doing anything this weekend, watch the documentary 13th. Watch the documentary 13th. If you notice, they never knew who was doing what. And that's what we need to do. We need to stop necessarily exposing ourselves, but we need to be on the ground level working through this system. But at the same time, self-care is so important. You have to know when to step back and say, okay, I need a breather. I can't keep going at this level. I need a breather. I see Pamela Lewis has joined on here too. She's a great resource as well. She's working with this, not working, but when her children were in the school system, she was a great resource just to keep all the children, just moving forward with their education and knowing what it is that they're doing. So that was a long answer to that question. As a people, Black people, are we still protesting, or is it the same people on the front line? There are people who are called to be on the front line, but we also need to identify the people who are behind the scenes that's feeding the front line information. There has to be a system. There has to be a system. And if any of you want, I still have the packet, the PDF from Politically Savvy. If any of you want that, just DM me your email address and I will shoot that over to you. Hopefully it'll help. Number 7, I'm almost done. Woo, I'm going longer than I planned on. Number 7. And I like when I get questions like this. You rock this week with educational information. Can you reiterate the lady running for the U.S. Senate and the lack of voter turnout for Royce West? How can she become more noticeable? Great question. First of all, thank you for saying that I rocked. She ran against Royce West. Now, he's an African-American. She's a Caucasian. He's African-American male. She's a Caucasian female. And I'm not saying that has anything to do with it. That's in the state of Texas. He was known. But what happened was people believed that he would be a shoo-in because of polling. So they believed he would be a shoo-in. So on the runoff election, that was, I believe, July the 14th, people didn't turn out to vote for him. They didn't turn out. They thought he was a shoo-in. They thought he was a sure bet that he was going to win. So they did not show up to vote. So MJ Hagar, that's her name, MJ Hagar, no one knew of her, but people showed up to vote. Now, you don't want to hear this, but it's true. There are some people who will go to vote or fill out their voting ballot, and they'll say, male or female, I'm going to pick the female. And because they may not know about either one of them. People do that. Women will vote for women. It's the craziest thing, but it happens. Men will vote for men. Men will vote for women if they're insecure about the male. So people did not show up to vote for Royce West. He knew that he was 60%. The research shows that 60% of the population knew him or knows him. Less than 56% of the population knows her. So people are saying, how can she win against her opponent? It's going to be difficult. So that second part of that question, how can she become more noticeable? Her campaign manager and her team, her campaign team needs to keep her out front. In this coronavirus in Texas is a hot spot. She's going to have to do Zoom town hall meetings. She's going to have to do things like what I'm doing here. They're going to have to put her out front. They're going to have to put out, her social media is going to have to just go completely organic and live. Her funding is going to have to come through. That's why I said before, depending upon your party, you don't have to just work within your particular city or state or county. Yes, you need to know your local landscape, but there's no reason why you cannot funnel funds to another campaign in another area, because every area connects. Every area connects. So as I said yesterday, if that majority, whatever majority party in the Senate wins, they get to have their leader. So right now is Senator Mitch McConnell. If you don't want him leading, and trust me, if they still hold the majority in the Senate, he will still be the majority leader. He will still be the leader. So if you don't want him leading, there needs to be at least 3 seats that flip in the Senate for there to be a a majority leader on the Democrat side. So how we work is, okay, who am I trying to, how am I trying to orchestrate this? So if you don't want Lindsey Graham, you have to help funnel funds into Jamie Harrison, I believe is his name, to help him. That's a tight race in South Carolina. So if you don't want Mitch McConnell, then we need to funnel funds into Amy McGrath's campaign. You know, or the opposite, whichever way you are on the aisle. That's how this works. But they're going to have to be strategic. Her team's going to have to be strategic in getting her out there to get her moving. So that was a long answer. All right, y'all, those were the questions I had. This was question day. Again, this book right here, Off the Chain, Cassandra Tolliver, For My Princesses. And she has another book that's coming out for, I think it's called For My Kings. This illustration, I want to show y'all this. This book, look at these illustrations, y'all. This is a good book. It really is a good book. I have a copy. Number one, she's my client. Number two, this is the bomb book. So check that out. And then if you need a consultant, if you need someone who help with diversity, a coach or small groups, Demia Candide with Significance. Demia Candide, and I'll put her information in the bottom. So for the win, we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, first of all, she was on the cover of Ready Publication. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. We had her on the cover of Ready Publication. But her response to GOP Rep Ted Yoho, he called her such horrible names on the steps of the Capitol. He verbally abused her on the Capitol steps on Monday, but she fought back yesterday without one tear. Without one. And she called the roll yesterday. So shout out to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, she was firm. Time out for attacking women. Time out for attacking women. I hear that the Deltas are getting ready to flood Atlanta on tomorrow. They're saying, you're not going to mess with Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. So look, leave the women alone, just let me say. So here's my inspirational message. Operate in your gift. Hello, Annette Hutton. Operate in your gift. That's the inspirational message. So it goes back to the questions I've been answering today. And I know I've gone long, so let me wrap this up. Operate in your gift. If you know you are a frontline person, get on the front lines. If you like to make phone calls, yeah, we can send text messages, but how easy is it for me to block a text message? Pick up the phone, call people, start with your base. Start with your base, people. Start with your base. This week's assignment was to email your family and friends. Let them know why you vote. What's up, Jackie Matthews? Why you vote. Email your friends and family. Let them know your story as to why you vote and why you think voting is important. If you can, go on live on your social media. Go on live and tell your story. If you don't want to go live, share this video. Share this video with content. Let them know, here are the reasons to vote. October the 5th, y'all. October the 5th is the last day to register to vote, to be able to vote in the November 3rd election. Again, check your Secretary of State website to check the dates for your state because dates are changing. iwillvote.com. You can check it out, register, check your voting information. So iwillvote.com. Vote.org, another great site, vote.org. Vote.gov is another great site. Rockthevote.org is another one. WhenWeAllVote.org is another one. You can even go to readypublication.com and click the Ready to Vote icon. There's enough resources out here for you to register to vote and vote. Send people to those links, y'all. Send people to those links. Please do that. So your inspirational message, operate in your gift. Operate in your gift. All right, y'all, I'm out of here until Monday. So until Monday, you have a great weekend. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, and practice social distancing. I'll say that again. Wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing Did I get them all? Wear your mask, practice social distancing, wash your hands. I think I got them all. Please do that, all right? I will be back on Monday. Share this video. Have a great week. Stay safe. I'm out.